Okay, so actually talking about biosecurity kind of made me think and segue into retouching a little bit on my previous talk that I gave on a milk collection video, the sterile milk collection. So apparently, and I learned this, I'm constantly learning. I learned this over the weekend at Goat Day, that there are certain circumstances where you don't want to freeze your milk sample. So like I recommended in my video that you put it right away in the freezer. Well, the doctor that was giving the talk said that some pathogens may be compromised by the freezing, the actual physical process of ice crystals being formed in the milk, and could change the being able to find certain organisms. So if you can get a milk sample just refrigerated and into the lab within 24 hours, that would be great. It also, apparently the labs like it better when the milk is soft, because they can just get right to plating it. So just remember that maybe to not freeze your milk samples if you can get them in right away. If you can't, obviously you're going to have to freeze them. Okay, so then I started thinking about, somebody asked on one of the goat pages if her goat looked like it was copper deficient, and I'm like, well, you really need to do a blood panel, a mineral panel first. And then I started thinking, well, she doesn't probably know what tops. So there's three different main, there's lots more, but there's three main colors to our tubes that we use for blood collection. We have lavender, which is for selenium. We have royal blue, which is what you're going to want to use, and it even says on there, actually, trace element. Okay, so we got to use that. If you want to see copper and everything, you have to use the blue. And then for like basic CBCs, CAE, CL, any of the health screens, we can use a red top. So like when I had a really goat sick, that was a goat that was really sick, I took a red top, a blue top, and a lavender, sent them all because I needed selenium, a mineral panel, and a CBC, and we checked her for diseases and everything else. So just a little recap, how to pick what tools to use when we're trying to figure out sampling, and that there are several different vacutainers that we need to use for different testing. So again, lavender is selenium, royal blue is for mineral panels, and the red top is just a general purpose. Some red tops have a plug, like I don't know what it's made out of, but it has a plug in the bottom that they use for separating the serum out. And you'll note some tests call for serum and some, or plasma, I'm not sure. But for most basic tests, you don't want those ones that have the separator on the bottom. I think those tubes are called a tiger top. They're red, but they have striping in the top. Anyway, just a little segue off of my biosecurity talk. Oh, and then a friend said, why do you guys all wear gloves? Because there was a picture of, somebody milking a goat with gloves. And let me get right to that answer. I gotta make my goat be quiet over here. So why do we wear gloves? We wear gloves because the main reason is not, honestly, to protect the goat. To protect us from the goat. The reason is to protect the goat from us. So every person, all people, have staph, environmental staph, typically, all over our skin. And I don't know about you other farmers, but our skin is not like the most soft, supple. There's a lot of cracks and crevices where dirt and cooties and things can live. So staph is on our hands, and even if you wash your hands, you're not really getting into all those cracks. So now I just put my glove on, and you can see it's a lot easier to sterilize this surface. It's not gonna harbor the bacteria, so let's say I did, and if I wanted to, I could wipe my hands or spray them in between, and it would be a little bit easier to get them clean than with what you saw before. So when we're wearing gloves during milking, it's actually to protect the goats from us, because we don't want to be putting staph onto that udder. Staph's the biggest one. But there are other bacteria that can be transmitted that way. And then, you know, just especially if you're consuming the raw milk, you don't want to be having skin-to-skin contact like that. And anyway, that's how I was taught. That's how I've been doing it for 15 years. I've been wearing gloves. All dairies that I know of that are running and selling milk commercially have their milkers wearing gloves. It's just the standard practice, and it is mainly for the safety of the goat.